The suit jacket and the tie-dye Wu-Tang shirt is a really good combination, actually. Along with this beanie,
Or do you feel sufficiently millennial?
You look like you're about to play at a New York underground slam poem poetry.
I look like a guy who recites spoken word poetry on a first date, for sure.
You look like a modern day interpretation of what Sam Raimi was going for with his Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
You look like you're about to drop a poem to Mary Jane Watson.
Look like a guy that tries to give you a copy of his mixtape in the subway and then tries to get you to Venmo him $20.
You look like the guy that sells mixtapes on the side of the road, on the sidewalk, along with some unusual internet videos that you've just ripped to DVD.
Yo, you think anyone never mind, that's the dumbest high thought I've ever had in my life.
No, you should say it anyway.
Leave us hanging, Chris.
You think anyone's ever done that? Back before YouTube had the watch later playlists and stuff you could add to, you think people were legitimately finding funny I don't know, Vines or I guess TikToks, whatever, the short YouTube videos back in the day and just burning them onto a disc and making
1,000%.
It's just some dude burning his own copy of Ridiculousness 20 years before it came.
I'm pretty sure that someone in my middle school sold illegal copies, or not illegal, but burned onto CD YouTube videos, and they were like, "Yeah, this will never go away. This is a totally sustainable market."
Those guys are probably super into NFTs now.
They're NFT bros now.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, The Rise of Skywalker. And the last time we will ever have a subsequent episode and a subsequent rotation. Ben, how was your watch?
Fuck this movie. I kept a running tally. There are about 5 MacGuffins in this movie.
There's way more than that. There's about 8.
More MacGuffins.
I counted them at one point, and I think it was 7. It's ridiculous.
So yeah, fuck this movie. I hate everything it stands for. My roommate got real sad. She went to when the first time you see Finn and Rose interact in this movie, she just goes, "Rose isn't going to be in this much, is she?" And I was like, no.
We have to introduce 2 more love interests to say Rose and Finn are together and also prove that Poe and Finn aren't gay.
How was your roommate's watch, Ben?
She fell asleep.
This was her first time seeing this. Yeah,
we had her till almost the end.
That tracks. I don't blame her.
Chris, how was your watch?
Every time when we get to episode 9, I know it's the ritual of the show, but you're always like, "Chris, how was your watch?" What's my answer supposed to be? Jay, you and I both know how my watch was. It's The Rise of Skywalker.
Listen, I have to make the content for whenever we put together videos that are just every single episode we've done and every intro we've done of just getting slowly more sick of Star Wars. I have to ask the question, Chris. So I assume it was absolutely fucking dreadful.
Oh god, yeah, there's 10. We're about to enter 10 rotations of intros where you can really probably track the slow decline of...
You can.
Oh. So yeah, no, in short, it was not a good one. I watched 2 movies this week. One was so much more superior.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it was last rotation, but that's like saying, I don't know, saying that a root canal isn't as bad as a filling, like, or a filling isn't as bad as a root canal. It's like, yeah, they both suck anyway. Like, Christ.
Just if I never had to watch another Star Wars movie for like the next 10 years, I'd die happy.
See, now we're back to the conversation I asked just like 3 or 4 episodes ago, which is, if you didn't have to watch Star Wars anymore, how long would it be until you actually watch Star Wars
It
again?
would definitely
And
be less than 10 years, but
because I think it would be like 10, if not ever.
We really probably should have talked about this before we started recording this episode. This is entering 10 rotations. This is a pretty big deal. Like, I feel like we should have, like, had a game plan going into this episode. I feel like it should be.
I mean,
do we
we
talk
do.
about?
So we didn't talk about what we were doing. Most of what we talked about was all of the things we're doing next rotation. And obviously, this is kind of a big episode. And no, we don't have anything particularly planned for it. But I do have this embarrassing new bit called Jay found this inside of her childhood box.
Oh, this is a good. This is a good way to cap out the first 10 rotations.
So, a couple of episodes ago, we spent a lot of time that we shouldn't have spent talking about the Star Trek X-Men crossover book cover. Sorry you had to sit through that, but Chris asked me to look for my middle school book report on that book. And no, I did not find it, but I did find a 6th grade 2.5-page story that I wrote. And I don't know why I wrote this. I know it's from 6th grade. I know that there's a bunch of quizzes that are attached to it that involve space, so maybe I had to use these words in a specific story sense, and I just threw them inside of this Star Wars thing. I don't know. All I know is I have this bundle of papers in which I have 9-year-old me's idea of what Star Wars was, and I said to the others, I haven't read this, but why don't we do it live?
Have you still
For the
not read this?
No.
Oh,
Why
fuck.
would I read this ahead of time?
Oh, fuck. You are braver than I.
Why would I read this ahead of time? Why would I ruin it? The world knows I can't read live. Why would I cram this like a script? It's a script read. That's where we're at.
It wasn't like I feel like you needed to rehearse. It's more like I would want to know what I'm reading before I'm putting this out into the world.
I know it's Star Wars it's a self-insert Star Wars fan fiction. What else do I need? So, let me see if I can show you guys the cover. I'll try to take a picture and put it in the YouTube copy, but I drew probably the peak of my drawing skills, I think.
I see a planet with a ring.
And a Naboo starfighter.
Oh, it's an N1.
That's pretty good.
For some reason, the Naboo starfighter. For some reason, the Naboo starfighter has the number 412 attached to it. I don't know why. And the name of this thing that I got a dinosaur stamp on, the words "nice work" and a smiley face and a circle with a plus inside of it, is Jedi Quest: The Intergalactic Spaceway, and it was done by me, and that's all I know.
I wonder why kids are having such a hard time in public schools with such weird esoteric means of grading. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to make of a dinosaur stamp. What does this mean? Did I fail? Did I pass? What's going on here?
I don't know what the dinosaur stamp means. It seems to have had something. I think it says dynamite, which is fantastic. But, you know, I'm 31, so it's been a long time since I was in 6th grade. So we're just going to read this live. I have no idea what is inside of this. I open it, and it has Jedi Quest again, and it has mission spelled with an A. Get Leon Jet at the top. And Jedi equals my dead name and an apprentice named Ryan. Now, I know for a fact that's supposed to reference someone that I was very close friends with in 6th grade. Who that is? No fucking clue. I don't remember who this person is. I'm sorry, Ryan, if you ever find this podcast.
Friend of
but
the
I
show,
don't
Ryan.
remember a lot of my 6th to 8th grade time.
Possible friend of the show, Ryan.
Reach out. I had a rough 6th to 8th grade.
Feel that.
So I guess I'm just gonna read this and embarrass the shit out of myself. So are we ready?
Always.
I was assigned by the Jedi Council to try to catch a bounty hunter named Leon Jet. His plan was to get to the Joe's Comet and use his megaton machine to redirect it at Newton's Nebula. If he succeeds spelled with 2 C's and 1 E, the explosion will destroy the intergalactic spaceway, killing millions. Killing past the Triad star cluster, I saw his ship. Ryan said, "Is that him?" This is all one paragraph. This is all one large paragraph on one large page.
A block of text.
I really don't think this was a writing report. Traveling past the Triad star cluster, I saw his ship. Ryan said, "Is that him?" Well, I had a strong suspicion when he began to shoot at me. We returned fire, hitting his fuel rods. How I knew what a fuel rod was in 6th grade. I don't
How the fuck
know.
they have a fuel rod on a ship? Oh.
Uh-oh. There she goes.
We're having technical issues. Jay has blown herself up with a fuel rod.
The fuel rods were hit. The ship has gone down.
I'm doing a tier list of every Lego Star Wars character right now.
Man.
Chris is upset with me.
Don't talk about. Save the Lego Star Wars thing for whenever.
It's truly the saddest thing I've ever heard, and we
Save
need
it,
to discuss
because
it.
We will harass him, but let's get through my embarrassment first.
Yeah. So the fuel rods were hit.
The fuel rods were hit.
I fired at fuel rods with fuel rods in space. Awesome, cool idea, very scientific. I say trying to find
such wow.
Trying to find where the hell I left off. For some reason, it blew up from the inside, revealing no pilot. It was a decoy. We took the long way around, staying away from the black hole. Careful, staying away from the black hole. Careful from being sucked in. Soon Penta and its 5 moves set yet met. Let's and the oddest of the bunch 1, 2, 4, and it just is a period there. I was trying to name moons, and it just ends with set yet let and 1, 2, 4. I think that was supposed to be a joke, and then a period. We've been hit, Ryan yells. Yell spelled Y-E-L-L-E-S. All one paragraph for the next page.
Oh my God.
No paragraph breaks. And also, I apparently knew who Penta El Zero Miedo was. And apparently, I gave his name.
It's like Penta. The ship pops up and it's like the fucking when Vader's in the space fight. It's just Penta from the shoulders up.
Apparently the planet's called Penta, so I'll get that royalty check, AEW, if you would please. I look back, seeing our R-O-U-R spelled A-R-E. Side engines are on fire. Prepare, I paused, for crash landing on Penta. Penta's gravity pulling us between Met and Let, crashing on Penta's hot sands. As we opened the cockpit, 100 of droids were closing in on us. We projected our lightsabers ready to fight.
Even in Jay's fanfic, you can't get away from a new desert planet.
I could hear Ryan say, "Here we go again." Whoosh. We looked back, seeing a
Whoosh!
starship in the back of us. Master Yoda had come to rescue us. I didn't expect that. A bit later, after the droids were defeated, I skipped right past the action.
Droids.
Because much like my real life, whenever I'm writing something, it's definitely not because of the action. I have no interest in actually writing.
Jay just did the George Lucas method of,
Of course, there's a lot of cheating in there. A lot of they fight.
a lot of cheating. They fight, and we
fight.
skip past it.
A bit later, after the droids were defeated, Yoda supplied us with his starship, saying that he had matters to attend to on Penta. I think I put a period between on and Penta, but it might just be me writing through the page, as I still do to this day. I put holes in paper like you wouldn't believe. After we were off the planet, pacing Saturn IV, Saturn misspelled, and apparently there's a planet called Saturn IV in Star Wars, we saw Leon Jet Starship. Not Jet Starship, just Leon Jet Starship. We knew it was a decoy. It was not a decoy. New spelled N-E-W, no K to be found. Okay. We began to have a space dogfight, repeated firing has an E in it, at each other. Finally, we shot him in his engines, blowing him up on both sides and crashing. In Galileo 6's moon B-Hop, we had finally, this is the
Close
first
together are
paragraph
these
break, by
planets.
the way. What's that?
How close together are all these planets? They're just like,
Fuck if I know.
they're like New York coffee shops. They're fucking across the street from each other.
This is the closest thing to a paragraph break there's been, and it starts with W lowercase. We had finally defeated Leon Jet and stopped him from destroying the intergalactic spaceway, and the rest of the page has just in big block letters, the end. Well, that was deeply embarrassing. So I think that this was for a science class, and I was just supposed to correctly use a bunch of phrases, because the next page has me drawing the solar system, Milky Way galaxy, and for the local group. I don't think that's scientific, but I have that written down. Man, I could draw when I was a little kid. What the fuck happened?
Is a scientific term.
What the fuck happened to me? I guess arthritis is the answer, but
Arthritis is the answer.
Arthritis is the answer. But there we go. I'm done embarrassing myself.
Damn.
Oh, that was pretty good.
So I promised I would show that, and that is in lieu of never showing anyone a picture of me as a kid dressed as Anakin Skywalker. That will never happen. You will never see that fucking picture. Never in your life will you see that picture. They have.
I'll accept this as a substitute. That's acceptable to me.
I'll accept this as a substitute.
Oh, God. Man, that kid liked Star Wars.
Part of me is very happy about it. Part of me is a little sad now. When I was 10 or 11, I filled 2 full composition notebooks with 2 Star Wars comics that I drew and wrote. 2 full-ass composition notebooks.
Oh my god.
But I know for a fact I destroyed those years ago, so they're gone. They're gone.
Oh,
They're completely gone. They're lost to the
lost
ages.
to history.
I don't think this is still in here, but a D&D character I once had is inside of this book. And this book became a notebook for a friend of the show's gang that I used. And it actually was made by my sister when she was in graphic design class. Yes, there was a graphic design class in our high school. And it came out before she made it before episode 3. So she put a book a thing in the back that's all concept, fan-made stuff for episode 3. At some point, and I doubt it's still in here, I tried to write an episode 7 script in here. In middle school, which I guarantee was a higher caliber writing than whatever the fuck that was.
JJ.
But considering it doesn't even have a cover anymore, I doubt it's in here. Doesn't seem to be.
I think Ben and I, other than Rise of Skywalker, are on a Star Wars peak right now.
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like Book of Boba Fett spoilers. I think you should definitely talk about all of the things that happened this week.
Yes, I will take this out from talking about this goddamn movie.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the movie still, but there's several subjects we still want to broach.
This is the end of Rotation 9. Fuck this movie. All right.
This movie.
I'll talk about this fucking movie.
Talk about Book of Boba Fett for a while.
It was what did I say in the Discord? It's the most wild 40 minutes of Star Wars I've ever seen.
Yeah, on like fucking Monday morning, I wake up to a message in our Discord from Chris, like, yeah, I forget exactly what you said, but you said like it was the wildest, like, such and such of Star Wars.
I think I know everything that happens in the episode. I think I've been spoiled to it all because I operate the Star Wars every week forever.
Do you want to try and give us a rundown?
This is spoilers, by the way. I know you said it already. This is spoilers for the second to last episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, is it 7? I thought it was 8 episodes.
I think it's only 7.
Probably.
You want me, who has not seen Book of Boba Fett, to give you a rundown of what happens in Book of Boba Fett episode 7, based on what little information I have. Because you're not going to like what I do. Alright, this could be a fun bit. I'll tell you what happens in Book of Boba Fett episode 7, or whatever the fuck it is. So, we open away from whatever the story of Book of Boba Fett is on Tatooine with the diner style fucking cool motorcycle group and I guess Jabba the Hutt's sister, who apparently is a vibe, I have learned from a random news article online. So we don't pay any attention to that plot. What we do instead is spend a lot of time with CGI-faced Luke Skywalker and Baby Yoda. So we spend the whole episode with Luke Skywalker training Baby Yoda, and I assume occasionally break to Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, whose name I don't know. Well, I'm supposed to explain it like I know what's going on when I
wanted to see I wanted to gauge Jay's.
So
Jay's.
I assume you break to occasional breaks with those characters, with Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, who is just the Mandalorian to me because I don't know his name right off the top of my head. And Baby Yoda is Grogu, I know that. So like I assume like action is put in there, and then you go back and Luke is better than Yoda, but only kind of training Grogu, because I've seen those scenes. And then Luke talks to Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's like, "You're kind of like your dad," and Luke's like, "I don't know if I should take that as a compliment." And then he trains him some more, and Luke's like, "I don't know if this kid's really into it. It feels like he wants to be with the Mandalorian," and the kid's like, "Yeah, I want to be with the Mandalorian." It
was crazy that those were his first words, by the way.
While he's sitting there and jumping between rocks and training to have a lightsaber when he absolutely should not at whatever young age he is. And then, you know, there's some kind of closure to that scene that I haven't seen. I think it might just end with him and Ahsoka talking. And then it cuts to Tatooine, where a character that I think in The Mandalorian wore Boba Fett's armor for a little bit is hanging out at this, like, desert place that I assume is a base. He's just kind of hanging out there, and I guess he works for Boba Fett now. And then like this Duros guy walks up to him, and he's like, "Hey, work for me, motherfucker, work for me." And the guy's like, "I don't know, I get paid a lot for Boba Fett." And he's like, "I'll pay you more." And then he's like, "I don't think you pay me more." And then there's a really long stare down a la Western, but way longer than it has to be. And the guy's head kind of raises, and it's Cad Bane. But his teeth are all fucked up. They're really, really sharp in a really weird way. Because I know who Cad Bane is. I watched the first season of Clone Wars begrudgingly. And he's like, they stare for an uncomfortable amount of time, more than I think any Western I've ever seen. And then Cad Bane shoots him, and he looks at the other guy. He's like, "You gonna work for me?" And this guy's like, "Yeah, you just shot my buddy." And that's how the episode ends, I assume.
Cad Bane's teeth are sharp like that in the show.
Cad Bane.
How would I
that's-
fucking know?
Jay, you got weirdly close to most of it. I mean,
If I was weirdly close to most of it, that
First
should
off-
not have been an episode
Well,
of
I will
Book of
say
Boba Fett.
you gave this show way too much credit for involving Boba Fett way more than it does.
Yeah. So let me say something.
Book of Boba
I've been
Fett.
enjoying this show a bit, like a lot more than I think I initially thought I was
Well,
going to.
Before you continue, question: who the fuck is voicing Luke Skywalker? Because it doesn't sound like Mark Hamill.
It's Mark Hamill. They
is
reused
Mark
old audio they had, apparently. Yeah, I just read that today.
Just get real life Mark Hamill to talk it to like.
Well,
get some
it was
tone
stuff
control.
he had.
He's Mark Hamill. He can
Well, it was some
pretend to
stuff
be
he
young
had
him.
recorded apparently previously and given his blessing to use, and that they spliced together apparently. I don't know. All I know is Mark Hamill's
Disney's too
cool with
busy
all of
trying
it, so I'm
to-
like, yeah, whatever.
Disney's too busy trying to make sure that they can recreate Mark Hamill when he's gone.
Yeah. Now, see, I've been enjoying Book of Boba Fett for a while, but the episode before this was the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett so far, and Boba Fett didn't appear for even a second of it.
Yeah, they mentioned his name once at the very end of the. We got Mandalorian season 3 episode
Yo.
1 the
Yes.
week
Yo.
before.
Yes.
I gotta be honest with you. These episodes might be cool, but this show sounds bad.
It's a good show. I love
Is
it.
it a good show when
Yes.
it's called The Book of Boba Fett and you spend no fucking time with Boba
I'm not
Fett?
saying it's on topic.
Okay, but
Much like this podcast, it's very good, even if most of the time it's not on its topic.
because most of the things that are happening in this show should not be happening in this show.
Yeah.
It should be like a 3-episode
Well-
arc of just like Luke and the Jedi Academy, maybe.
Well,
You really
I'm
shouldn't.
trying to think of the words that are in my brain.
The thing that I'm trying to do right now is, from an outsider's perspective, have you guys accept that these things should not be happening in Book of Boba Fett, even if they are good.
Well, what I think they're trying to do is they wanted to have this crossover with the Mandalorian working with Boba Fett, but because of things that happened in the Mandalorian, they kind of had to like speed up his story so it could work, which sucks. But like they kind of needed to.
No, see, I also read it as the way the early episodes have treated Boba Fett. It has softened Boba Fett as a character. It's made him a more, I don't know, a kinder character, like a more sentimental character. I think that's what the early episodes were, and then bringing Din Djarin back in and doing all the Grogu stuff, and I don't think this ends with Boba Fett still being a crime boss. I think this ends with Boba Fett getting wrapped back up into the Mandalore stuff.
I don't know. It sounds cool as hell if I still had any ability to feel things about Star Wars, but it just does not seem like what they should have been selling Book of Boba Fett about.
See, I don't know. I think I'm kind of in the same place with it I am with like the Marvel stuff, where I don't really care what you call it and who shows up in it, because at the end of the day, it's all comic books and people show up and shit all the time, and just I don't need there to be a season of a show with a specific name. Just call it the Star Wars show, and whatever every episode is what it is at this point. Just
Oh, you
keep
mean
telling the
Hawkeye.
story you're telling. Yeah.
And what Echo is almost certainly gonna be.
Yes, exactly.
I don't have high hopes for Echo. I'm sure it will be cool in parts, but I think you'll also walk away going, I don't think that was an Echo show.
So
No.
the other thing Jay was like almost close on, but not really, was Cobb Vanth, who's the guy who had Boba Fett's
There's
armor
no
at
way
one
that's
point.
how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
Cobb
Van.
Van.
There's no way it's pronounced Cobb
that's-
Van.
Cobb Vanth. Yes.
the
That's
man's name.
terrible. That's terrible.
I mean,
He's
it's a
not
very
even-
Star Wars name.
He was from the Aftermath trilogy, actually. It's like that's not even Boba Fett,
Yeah.
Mandalorian writers' faults.
No, this guy's from Clone Wars.
No,
Cobb Vanth?
he was from
No.
books.
No, this dude's the Duros from the first season of
No,
Clone
No,
Wars.
no,
that's
not
that's
Cad
Cad
Bane.
Bane.
The guy who had Boba
God
Fett's armor.
damn, beats Cad Bane. That's like a fucking.
No, Cad.
That's
Cad
like
Ba-
a comedy skit.
So Cobb Vanth, the guy who had Boba Fett's armor,
Yes.
was approached by. Was it the Mandalorian? Yeah.
Like,
He was like, "Yo,
yeah.
you should work for Boba Fett," and he was like, "I'll think about it." And then, yeah, Cad Bane comes up and he's like, "Hey, don't do that." And Cobb Vanth's like, "Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't." Then his fucking deputy's like, "I'm gonna shoot him," and then they both get shot.
That's what I loved about
Yeah.
this scene, because it shows like Cobb Vanth is an interesting character because he's totally that guy who thinks he's like this sheriff gunslinger who's had very little like need to use that, so he's used to dealing with a lower tier of opponent.
Yeah.
Cad Bane draws, shoots another guy, and still has time to shoot him before Cobb Vanth gets his blaster out.
It's very good.
Not
It's
even
very
very good.
long though.
Very good scene.
The deputy pulls out his gun. Cad Bane goes, "Okay," shoots Cobb Vanth first, and before the deputy could even get his gun up, he's got like 10 rounds dumped into him.
I basically got that scene right because I watched the full
Yeah.
scene. I just
Yeah,
forgot
you got
that.
really close.
I watched the full Luke and
But yeah,
Baby
no,
Yoda
so
stuff.
the
and
Luke and Grogu stuff is where it got weird, because you got
Super
the
weird.
gist of that right. Luke, and this is gonna, Jay and I are gonna get into really nerdy EU gushing for a second with this, probably, because like the way I described it to my father, watching this scene unfold was almost legitimately heartbreaking. Because
It was.
this
You
was
know what?
not
I could feel it.
you,
I could
Luke.
feel it. Yeah.
This is the Luke who is still wrapped up in the fucking old ways of the Jedi teaching of, no, you have to abandon
felt
the
it.
people you care about, and you have to you can't have attachments, and
I felt it.
it
I'm
was
I'm
kind
starting
of
to
fucking
wonder-
heartbreaking.
I kind of wonder if this like plot line they're going with is going to be what breaks him of that. Cuz like the sequel trilogy, at least, it doesn't read like Luke was
Yeah.
keeping Leia and Han from Ben Solo. Like it seemed like they were free to like see him and shit. So I'm wondering if this is like gonna take him out of that, or if he's just like doing some dickish stuff. I don't know.
The way I read it, the EU was weird because they had to write a history of a Jedi Academy before there was any knowledge of the prequels, before there
Yeah.
was anything to write down. So they wrote and then doubled down that no, yeah, the Jedi have family, the Jedi can be in love, that these are all things Jedi can do. And then the prequels came out and they doubled down and said, no, that's the difference between them and us. That was their failing. We will. And then they doubled down on it again and explored the entire plot of them maybe being gray Jedi as an order because they didn't do these things. And they doubled down again and said, fuck it. We're Jedi. We're not gray Jedi. We're just Jedi. And the ability to love is not lost on us. But the other problem with that is you had characters that should have rightfully been in that era that were not, like Krunk and our buddy Krunk, and all the other like surviving Jedi that for some reason only appear 100 years after the fall of the Empire. All those characters weren't written into the Jedi Order because they weren't fucking around. So this, I feel like, based on what I saw, is them taking Luke's knowledge in this world of what the prequel Jedi Order were like, and trying to bridge the gap between what Luke ends up going with when he has Ben Solo as a student. And I think it also writes out the plot hole that is Baby Grogu not being at the Jedi whatever with Ben. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think Ben's
big
right. based on what
decision
I saw.
the big decision at the end and where we leave them is Luke laying out the bundle that Din brought. Din Djarin is the Mandalorian's name, by the
Yeah.
way.
I can never remember that until I watch the show.
But Din brought, the bundle and gave it to Ahsoka. It's little Beskar chainmail robe.
Beskar, like, mithril fucking...
Oh my god, I saw that in a meme format. I didn't realize.
And Luke basically lays it out, and he's like, now you can have this, and you can go back with your Mandalorian friend and be with him, or you can have this. And he pulls a little lightsaber out, and he's like, this was my Master Yoda's lightsaber. If you take this, you stay here, and you train to be a Jedi, and it's...
I think they're trying. I think they're trying.
I
It
liked
is
it
genuinely
overall,
heartbreaking.
but it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Coming from the EU, Luke,
The other thing that kind of this episode got me mad about, but not for, like, it's not the fault of the show, is that we are getting a look at Luke's canon now Jedi Praxium in an offshoot series instead of, like, an actual movie where it would have felt better to get a look into it. I know.
I'm almost better with it happening this way because I trust Filoni far more than I trust whoever they'll ever get to direct any one of these movies.
And I gotta be 1,000% honest. Like we talked about Marvel, the most satisfied that I have ever been, and this doesn't really include the Disney Plus shows. Some of them are good, some of them aren't for me. I know Chris and I disagree on Hawkeye, and that's totally fine. I feel like on the Marvel side of things, the best things they have ever done have been in TV shows. And yeah, there's been some shit that wasn't as good, but the peak stuff was TV shows. I feel like if you're going to do the Jedi Praxium justice, which I don't think they're going to do the Jedi Praxium justice, I think this is a bridge to whatever they're going to do next. But if you are, TV show, absolutely, 1,000%. Because it's going to be a hard sell for a movie anyway.
It was nice to finally get Ahsoka and Luke. Again, weird that it's in the Book of Boba Fett, but
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I can see the way everybody's describing, plus the scenes I saw, because I see these things and I'm like, well, I'm never going to watch the fucking show, so I might as well open it.
This episode was directed by Dave Filoni, so...
Yeah.
Nerd.
You fucking nerd, Dave. You big old fucking nerd, Dave Filoni.
Love Dave Filoni so much.
Is Truly... Cat Bane his self-insert with the fucking cowboy hat? And
Listen, I'm just happy we're finally going to get... the conclusion to Boba Fett versus Cad Bane, and that they're seemingly making that deleted scene canon with the dent in Boba Fett's helmet.
Sure.
There was a deleted scene from Clone Wars, I believe, where that it explained why Boba Fett's got that dent in the helmet. It's from Cad Bane.
They had a shootout. It was supposed to be how Cad Bane died, actually, which is what I think they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's going to be this season or next season or.
That's what people are now. That's what people are now speculating is the reason for Cad Bane having that metal plate in his head.
Well, the next thing that's on the docket is Obi-Wan. So, do you think that Cad Bane being introduced, that's probably the end, but do you think Cad Bane being introduced is a way to use Obi-Wan without getting him directly involved with the Sith Inquisitors and shit?
I mean, I think they could use Cad Bane in that, but again, I think we're going to get the Inquisitors anyway.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd be kind of disappointed if we didn't get Inquisitors in the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
I would be deeply happy because I really don't want much of Obi-Wan interacting with the Empire, like as little as possible. Like you gotta at some point, but you really should have like an A plot that is not that. You delve into that through necessity, and then you get out so that you're still like, all right, Obi-Wan wasn't getting involved in Imperial antics the entire time. But then again, what I want is a Cheers show, so I'm not gonna.
I don't really know how they're gonna do that when they already have confirmed like Darth Vader showing up in the series. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed.
All right,
it's confirmed from Obi-Wan, like from that behind the scenes thing. Like even Ewan McGregor said that they will be dueling. They will have another. They're going to be having another.
They're going to have stormtroopers. I know.
No, they're going to have
the
another.
girl that no longer watches Star Wars content. here's what I think they should do. Cheers. But failing that, based on the information that we have, cheers. But failing that, you spend as much time on Tatooine as humanly fucking possible. Maybe Cad Bane's there. He recognizes Obi-Wan, tries to get involved with the Empire, yada, 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 yada. That allows you to draw out Obi-Wan's time on Tatooine as much as possible, so you're not setting this big multi-planet story until the end. Of course, I don't know how many episodes Obi-Wan will be, so it doesn't. I don't fucking know. Then you can kind of use that Cad Bane to be the thing that you're actually building up to all season. Like, Cad Bane's a means to an end. The Darth Vader thing is what you're actually looking for. So you use that and all the flashbacks that you use, because we already know there's going to be flashbacks, in order to get Cad Bane to be the bridge too far that leads you to Vader and leads you to the Empire. You have that confrontation, you get out with Vader thinking that he's dead, and that's it. Instead of like 8 to 12 episodes of him going to multiple planets in Imperial. You keep it as small and focused as possible. That's what I would want to see.
I'd be surprised if this series ends up being more than 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Disney Plus 6 episode shows.
I mean,
I really don't.
I prefer it to be as short as it has to be for there to be no bullshit fluff in there.
Yeah, like Mandalorian
But that's the
season
thing,
2, I felt like had a lot of.
And Obi-Wan is not a show that needs extra nonsense.
It doesn't
Make
need
it as short
padding.
as you fucking need it to be. At worst, we're getting a 5-6 hour movie, basically.
I feel like 6 does it disservice. I feel like 8 is the sweet spot. Because you don't really have fluff at 8. You actually have more time to expand out your ideas. It's 10 and 12 and 13 that you really start to feel
Obi-Wan,
like.
I feel like that's
specifically, you don't need that many episodes. The more
guess.
episodes there are, is the more fucking around.
Yeah,
they're gonna
it
do,
more
you know what I mean?
depends on where they're going with the story.
I guess. I also don't care, so I'm the wrong person to really make these arguments anyway. I'll watch Obi-Wan. It's not Cheers, so I won't
Apparently,
be invested. But
it's been confirmed that Hayden Christensen is coming back to play Anakin in this Ahsoka show, so apparently we're going to get a lot of flashbacks in that as well, which will be interesting.
He did a Force for Change thing, and it struck me feeling old, how old he looked in it. Like, he looks good, but, like, he's got that, like, Silvermane thing going on, and it just totally threw me off. Like, you look like you're in your late 40s, and that unnerves me. I hate to do this, but if we could tie it back around to the movie that we watched.
I don't want to go back.
We gotta do it. We brought up Luke and...
I hate J.J. Abrams so goddamn much.
Enemy of the show, J.J. Abrams.
Enemy of the show, J.J. Abrams.
I feel like I'm the big J.J. hater here. I feel like that's a little bit harsh. I don't hate him. I just think he's a bad storyteller.
He's a bad storyteller, and he refused to work off of what he was given.
I don't want to give JJ credit. I don't. But I really think the directive of don't work with any of the threads that Last Jedi gave you was Disney mandated. I think Disney made that call. I think Disney thought that TLJ was badly received, and they were like, let's get as far away. I think this was a PR stunt. I think that's what happened with this movie. I really think that's
see that.
I still think J.J. Abrams did a terrible fucking job, and he could have done 1,000 other things, but we talked about Luke. It probably should be said, even though I don't really want to, at some point in the history of this podcast, that all of the Leia scenes, while necessary, are bad.
Yeah.
They're uncomfortable and they're bad.
Even without the context of Carrie Fisher passing, what was it, the prior year, I think it was.
I know Carrie gave her permission, but they didn't have a lot of clips, and every scene just is so devoid of humanity that it is uncomfortable. And it's genuinely my least favorite part of these watches. I hate them a lot, and it's nobody's fault. It just is. It's not JJ's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just the cards they were dealt. And if they hadn't had Leia in the movie, that would have been more insulting to a lot of fans. So I get it, but they're bad, and they have no life in them.
Yeah, I mean, if they had just not had her in the movie, there would have been no way to explain that.
Yeah, there would have been absolutely no like closure or anything.
I want to apologize to Ben ahead of time for what I'm about to do, because I'm going to take all of the sadness that we just accrued by talking about Carrie, and we're going to turn it on you by talking about something that happened when I disconnected from the call for a second because of laggy Skype. Which is a venture that is not new, but Chris has just learned about it. I don't know how we've not made fun of the shit out of you for doing this.
I'm so ready for this.
Hey, what's your for the last 6 months or so? What's been your passion project in your downtime?
Months,
it's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's probably been more, to be honest.
6 months you've
I
been
can
doing
remember
this,
like last spring going on a Discord call and seeing you running around in circles on one fucking level.
buddy.
So what have you been doing?
Ben looks
I'm
haunted.
confused. No, I'm confused. I have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Lego.
Like dead ass.
Lego.
What about it?
Lego Star Wars. What are you doing?
I made a tier list like
Oh.
half an hour
This is
ago.
way less depressing than what I thought this conversation was going to be.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I thought we were talking about the 3 to 5 month period where you decided to unlock every single character in Lego Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
The Clone Wars.
Yeah,
Lego Star
like
Wars Clone Wars.
a month.
I thought we were talking about that. A tier
No.
list less sad.
This is less sad. I was very concerned about Ben. What do you mean you're making a tier list of the Lego Star Wars game?
Here, I'll put it in the Discord.
I don't want to see your tier list. You make too many. Fun Ben fact: he makes a lot of tier lists.
I don't make as much as the other 2 people in that friend group.
Why have tier lists gotten so big recently? Like, I feel like on Reddit, all I ever see is tier lists of all the kind of stupid shit. Like,
I feel like it's just an easy meme format.
They're fun to make.
Yeah.
it was big in the fighting game community like a year ago, and then it spread like a virus.
I think my problem with this thing that you are doing to yourself, Ben, is it requires so much thought about something you already put so much thought into. We talked last episode about not monetizing your hobbies, and we're monetizing this hobby for all intents and purposes, even though all we've ever done is lose money on this podcast.
I was gonna say I don't see how this is getting monetized.
Yo, Ben, this is even
This
worse
is
than
of
what I
the
thought it
characters,
was.
not the. Okay, it's definitely
I thought
as
it
sad as I
was
thought it was.
Games. I thought
Nah,
you were
it's
listing
every
the
character
games.
from the complete saga.
This
This
is
is-
so much sadder.
This is so much sadder than I thought it was.
So Ben is doing
Ben.
a tier list of every character
Okay.
in
gotta
the Lego
sit
stuff.
down. I need my
I-
phone.
I hate the gonk being at the top. That's such
Of
an old,
course.
tired meme.
Do you have Boss Nass in the S tier?
Ben. Why are you such a living meme?
Because my mama told me to follow my dreams.
Your mama doesn't appreciate that this is your dream. How? Why? Why?
Because I can.
What is the difference between Ghost Obi-Wan and Anakin Obi-Wan and regular Obi-Wan and regular Anakin? Why are they in S tier and the other is a prerequisite for S tier to die?
Ah, it's just they're in order of how much I like them.
Why is that one stormtrooper S tier?
Oh, that's the the beach stormtrooper. He's just got swim trunks on.
Ah, yes, of course, the beach
Yes, of
stormtrooper.
course.
Ben.
Sexy Lego Stormtrooper, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Makes total sense.
Who?
Why?
Now
why-
let me ask another question. Who's the dude in the white hood in the A tier?
That's
There is
Dengar.
no. Oh,
Is that Dengar?
yeah, it's Dengar.
I didn't realize Johnny Cash was in Lego Star.
Ben.
Jay.
Ben.
Jay.
Ben.
Jay.
Why are you spending your time? Hold on. I've just discovered something. You have a tier called joke characters, but you put the stormtrooper and swim trunks in the S tier.
Yeah. I didn't make the template. The only thing I did was add Gonk tier.
I don't know. I legitimately don't fucking know what to do with you. I'm disappointed in what you have been spending your time on.
Love me unconditionally.
Unfortunately.
My God.
That's already happened. I do love you unconditionally, but if there was a condition.
Ben, looking at this tier list is giving me the same feeling as when one of those like sad animal commercials comes on the TV. I'm really sad. I feel like I should do something about it, but I'm definitely not going to.
I got a laugh from this movie.
Oh.
And it's always 3PO. It's always 3PO.
3PO is the only laugh I'll give.
Yeah.
credit for.
Oh,
So they fall through the sand into the sand cavern. And Poe stands up and yells if Rey and Finn are all right, and 3PO just stands up behind him and goes, "Well, you didn't ask me, but I'm all right." And it's such like a sad laugh, just
I
like
sat there and I
ah,
was like, I just empathize with that too much.
nobody cares about 3PO. It's sad and funny, but mostly sad.
3PO is very good in this movie.
3PO.
You've made a bad Star Wars movie when C-3PO is the best part of your movie.
I don't know, man.
I
I
don't know about
empathize with
that.
C-3PO so much now.
Yeah.
Like, 3PO has. I feel like C-3PO is our spiritual guide on this mess of a podcast because C-3PO also doesn't want to be in Star Wars. C-3PO wants to be in a classy, I was going to say like a classy British timepiece drama, but like there's nothing classy about British timepiece drama. But like that's where he sees himself. Like he's like a Victorian actor and he's in constant horror at everything going on around him. And I feel the same. I am in constant horror about what I do every week. It's fun, and I enjoy it. But I am in constant horror about what this has become. And I think this episode perfectly encapsulates that horror.
Yeah. I just the older I get, the more I feel like C-3PO. I just find myself in situations and I'm just like, I'm not equipped to handle any of this.
You're 25.
Emotionally, spiritually, or physically.
That's just getting older. I mean, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
When...
Oh my god. And I also have written in my notes, I wrote a lot, which is like half a page at this point. I have written in capital letters hex charm ? I have no idea what that means.
That's when C-3PO sees the speeder. He's like, oh, it's a hex charm, but like
Why is it called a
with this-
hex charm?
Yeah.
This is Star Wars.
Do you guys know what hexes mean? Like,
I'm a hex girl and I'm gonna get
I'm a
angry at
hex
you.
girl.
I have written down. I just was. You could tell how annoyed I was watching this movie because I have written down. In Revenge of the Sith, we see Anakin come into battle at the same level as his master, who previously surpassed him. In Return of the Jedi, we see Luke grow leaps and bounds and be prepared to fight an entire sand barge at the beginning of the movie, like a Jedi master. In Rise of Skywalker, Rey tries to contact people and falls over exasperated that those people are no longer with her, and then fails at a training course. Like, I know we like Return of the Jedi, but it's not a perfect movie.
Not
And
by
if
any
Return,
means.
or I know we like Revenge of the Sith, and it's not a perfect movie. And the same could be said about Return of the Jedi. But they do capture growth so much better than this fucking movie.
I think that we've talked about this a lot, especially when we talked about the Duel of the Fates script, because there was character growth in that movie. I don't think they cared if there was growth. I think they actively were trying to not show growth.
I don't even know if that's the case. I genuinely don't think J.J. Abrams has ever come up with an idea where he thought he could end it in a way where there was growth. I don't think J.J. Abrams, if I could get way too judgmental about a person's life I've never met and will never meet, I think J.J. Abrams sees himself as the same person he was at 18 at 40. I think J.J. Abrams doesn't know what growth is, and he pretends he can write it.
He
but
thinks
it's
just like a straight line.
Yeah. And all of his stories that he's actually finished ends where it began, and I don't know why you would want to end in life where you began. So I have other notes, but I'm just honestly too sad today.
It would really suck if you did a thing where you continually were going back to where you began, just time and time again. For many rotations, in fact.
For 3 years. 10 rotations or so, just to throw out a number.
For 3 years.
Well, we're in our 3rd year of doing it, yeah. 2.5 years.
God.
I've legitimately gained gray hair since this podcast started.
I think I have 2.
I've somehow not gained gray hair.
My roommate found a gray hair on me the other day.
Oh, I got like the Reed Richards thing going on.
Spiritually, I have gray hair. I don't get gray hair. I get bags under my eyes that get worse and worse every day.
Ooh.
Same.
Yeah, you have that as well.
I look like I haven't slept in 3 months, and I've been up just reading Eldritch scribbles by candlelight.
In the middle of a summoning circle every night, since that's the only rest that you will ever get, is summoning eldritch beings to give you rest, because you can never sleep because the horrors are too terrible in your dreams, and all you can see in your dreams are they fly now. They fly now. They fly now.
Star Wars go away.
The Star Wars go away. Weird Wikipedia, please.
Oh, it's the end of the rotation. Holy shit.
It's the end of the 9th rotation.
I want to bring up the tempo so that we can tell everybody what we're doing with our 10th rotation.
Oh, yeah.
So
we gotta do the big announcement.
Yeah.
Some interesting...
Some interesting Wikipedias.
Yeah, it's canon and legends.
Ooh.
It's actually one of the Clone Trooper corps.
Ooh.
44th.
Not looking forward to that edit.
Sounds like a Star Wars name for sure.
41st Elite Corps. I actually I know almost nothing about these guys as much as I love the Clone Troopers. They look... these look like the
Clone Troopers.
The red-colored Coruscant Guard looking motherfuckers.
Sure.
Can you imagine being the Wikipedia writer that has decided to spend their time specifically talking about legions of clone troopers on the editing those specific articles, because that sounds exhausting.
It's like every time, once in a while, I'll come across the like Vine or TikTok where it's like someone being like, "Oh, you like the Clone Wars? Name every clone trooper," and someone actually copies and pastes the list of known clone troopers. I'll come across that meme like twice a year, and every time I'm just like, "This is fucking great."
I feel like
is not so much weird as it is just
generic.
And very comprehensive.
Yeah.
So I have not clicked Legends yet. I assume there's way less information, but I'd like to make a bet with everybody.
It's probably comparable, actually.
Their first appearance is interesting.
Hold on. I'd like to make a bet with everyone before we click on the Legends page. I guarantee at least one, if not 3 or 4 of the appearances are Karen Travis books when we click on Legends.
That's a fun game.
Oh, God.
Let's go over to Legends and find out. Let's see. Appearances. Republic Commando 000. Order 66, a Republic Commando novel. So 2. I was almost there. In between the 2 numbers I said.
No, it looks like it might be 3. Star Wars Republic Hidden Enemy.
Is that a Karen Travis book? No, it is not.
John Ostrander.
No, that was a pretty cool comic series where Jedi try to survive in the Kashyyyk wilds while Order 66 is happening. It's a pretty cool series.
So an interesting note, their first appearance in canon was Revenge of the Sith.
Are they directly mentioned in Revenge of the Sith?
They're in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, they were present at the Battle of Geonosis. Not the Battle of Geonosis. They were Never mind. I thought I knew where I was going. No, never mind.
I mean, if I get an excuse to say the word Utapau, I will say
they're in a sea. Utapau, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Utapau.
They were probably a part of Order 66. Because, wait,
oh, shit. Was this the Legion that you follow throughout Star Wars Battlefront 2?
No, that's the 501st.
Oh. Oh, it's the other Battlefront 2. Hey, Ben, non-canon appearances. Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga.
Ben,
that comes out in April.
Ben, power rank the 41st guy. So.
Power rank all of the 41st Elite Legions members.
41st Legions members. All right. Next week on Star Wars Every Week Forever.
Absolutely not.
It's too late for that.
Well, we're moving away.
That's right. We're gonna have the whole fucking.
It's time to move away from this weird Wikipedia. Thank you so much, Ben. To an announcement for the 10th rotation, along with probably some other goodies. We are giving ourselves both a break and a lot of work because we are going to be doing commentary over each of the movies. So you can watch us talk about the movies to the movies for the next 9 weeks. So we can watch all of the movies together and not have to suffer through them alone. And you can put our stupid voices on as director's commentary over the movies. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Because I won't be alone watching the Star Wars movies.
It'll be one less hour of our time spent on the podcast next
week. And
it'll
be pretty great because we're compacting everything that we do into one night. It's going to be fantastic.
You got to figure out scheduling on that still because that's going to be an undertaking. But, you know, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. So the idea is you could literally put the entire episode over the entire episode of the podcast over the movie. So that's what we're doing.
Same time
yep. Because that's what we're going to do.
Our pit of misery along with us.
Be aware there will be long silences. It will not be as finely edited as usual. But next rotation, director's commentary. It's going to be a party. We've done this 10 times. That's horrifying. But we're going to party with y'all next week. Fucking snacks, fucking cookies, that none of this is happening for me, although I assume Ben will bring a bunch of fucking food on
Oh,
because he
fuck.
always brings food onto the podcast.
Hey Jay, do we do drinking games?
Oh no.
That's a terrible idea. I guess it will
No.
depend on the recording nights we choose. And I don't have a lot of alcohol left in the house, but we'll
Please
decide
no.
that next time. Or
Please,
maybe we'll
please
get
no.
sloppy drunk. But to be honest, to bring the energy down a little bit, I'm just glad we're finally going to have a bit of time where we're together for this process fully. And I'm excited
Yeah.
at the idea of you all 6 weeks removed being there with us as well. So keep an eye on the channel. I'm hoping to have a ton of goodies out for y'all on the YouTube channel throughout this 10th rotation. This has been Star Wars Every Week Forever, coming to you live from the last time we will have a concurrent episode and movie, going into what I hope will be the most enjoyable rotation we've done. Good night. Get excited. Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.